Good evening, class. I just wanted to demonstrate how I could be a little bit spontaneous. Christian really made me think about it. So Christian talked about being spontaneous in a face-to-face class and that you have more opportunity to be spontaneous in a face-to-face class versus online. He believes that you can be a little spontaneous in online, but it really just depends on your students. And so I challenge everyone to think about how you can be more spontaneous, how you can send out things when something arises, if you see something in a discussion or an assignment. For instance, I may reach out to students if I see a trend, and that way I can head off any issues down the road. Sandra talked about the absence of nonverbal communication, gestures, body language, etc., in terms of the students, that you miss out on this if you don't have face-to-face interaction. And what I would say is, look at my gestures, look at my interactions, look at me talking to you right now. There's no reason why you can't have an expectation for video from students. They could, if you wanted them to, post a video every week as their journal assignment. You can work that in, and that way you can get to know them a little bit better. You can see how they react to certain things, how they pause, how they wink, how they do all these things, hand gestures, etc. So don't see that as a limitation. You're only limited by your imagination. Letizia, pardon me. I think that if you want to be successful in online teaching, you have to invest the time needed in design, content, assessment, rubrics, and interaction moments planning. I completely agree. If you don't put the time and effort into online learning by designing a great course, you get out of it what you put into it. And so it's really important that you take the time to create something that works. You have your learning objectives, and what does it take to get to those learning objectives? And that's exactly what we're doing in HelloAOTS. Excuse me. Catherine talked about too much feedback from professors can be overwhelming for the students. Yes, but honestly, most professors underdo this. They don't provide enough feedback. And you don't have to go very far to find a student who's had an online class who will complain about the fact that they don't know their professor. And it's because the professor is really kind of not doing what they should. I should, as a professor online, provide regular feedback to the students. I don't always do it to the best of my ability, and that is something that I'm constantly working on. But there are a lot of professors, a lot of instructors online that do very little feedback whatsoever, and so the students are kind of just lost. It's the equivalent of the face-to-face on-site course where professors, instructors, don't say anything about a paper that's submitted. They don't give any feedback whatsoever. They just say, good job, attaboy. And that doesn't really work too much. If the student is the same at the beginning of the course as they are at the end of the course, there's no permanent improvement, then there is a missed opportunity, and that's not learning. Too many courses like that, unfortunately. Catherine also said, and I quote, feedback allows less confident students the encouragement needed to continue and revise work, and likewise propels momentum for all class participants. Again, feedback is important. It is something that we need to be providing our students, and we need to carve out time to provide good feedback. And feedback isn't just great job, it's have you thought about this? Have you considered this? Did you see what this student said? And then that way it keeps that learning going. Something that was said was also, this is why students who struggle in a face-to-face course can excel in an online environment. I believe that was Catherine as well. I love the fact that the online environment can level the playing field. I love that a student who may not have English as their first language can watch a video 50 times if they want to and get it at the end of that. They can't always do that in the classroom. You know, once the lecture is finished, unless it's been recorded, they either got it or they didn't. They could ask questions, yes, but even then, students struggle. When English isn't their first language, or if they have comprehension issues, they struggle. So I love that about the online environment. They can read an article over and over again. They can watch a video over and over again. They can read a document over and over again. And so I think they have an opportunity there. Virginia spoke about being early and leaving late from a face-to-face class so that she can interact with students. So my question is, how can you do that online? What is the equivalent? Is it doing a conference call every so often so that you have a little bit of synchronous interaction with your students? Is it going into a discussion board and reinforcing that you're always available? For me, part of that is making sure that my students have my email and my cell phone number, and I encourage them to text me at any time. I know some instructors go nuts when I say that because they don't want that kind of interaction with the students, but it helps them and it makes them more connected to who you are and what you do, and you can head off some bigger issues down the line. That's just my approach. It's not for everybody. Virginia also talked about tweaking her online course every time. Agreed! If your course isn't updated in some little way every semester, I think that you're missing an opportunity to teach at a higher level. Students are always changing. If you don't change the course, then it's probably not fitting their needs as best they can. Anyway, those are just some reactions to those that have posted so far. And again, this is an example of spontaneity. I decided to make a video based on what I was seeing. Thank you, Christian. And I look forward to the rest of the discussion. See you soon. Bye. Oh, by the way, I recorded this in QuickTime on my computer, and I'm going to save it to my desktop, and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube, which is a pretty simple process. If you don't know how to do that, I think the folks in eStudio can help you, and I can certainly help you as well. Feel free to text me. All right, bye.